Hey big block fans, spring is in the air here at West Tech Performance, and that can mean only one thing. It's time to get back to basics. In this episode of Back to Basics, we're swapping springs on a big block Chevy. When it comes to valve springs, there's three important considerations. The first is a type of cam you use. Flat tappet, hydraulic roller, solid roller, they all require different valve springs. So make sure you match the spring to the type of cam you use. The second consideration is valve lift. Obviously springs that will support 500 lift have no business on a cam with 6, 7, or 800 lift. So make sure you match the spring to the intended lift. The final consideration is engine speed. If you've got a stock or mild truck application where you rev the motor to 5,000 RPM, obviously you can get away with a lot less spring pressure than if you ran a race motor to 6, 7, or 8,000 RPM. So again, match the spring to the intended RPM. If all this is difficult to understand, don't worry. The guys at Comp Cams have you covered. If you select a cam from their catalog, they've got a spring recommendation right for that cam. Even if you've got a custom one, they've got you covered. So now that we have a little better understanding on the subject, let's jump in and swap some springs. For this installation, we chose a set of 26 120 beehive springs from Comp Cams. The springs were teamed with a set of 795 retainers, 616 10-degree keepers, and 4698-8 rotator eliminators. Make sure you need 2 sets of those for this late model Gen 6 big block. Removing the valve cover provides access to the rocker arms. With the valve covers gone, next comes the factory rocker arms. Make sure to remove the guide plates and push rods as well. Note the length of the push rod. You have longs and shorts. Make sure they go back in their proper position. Removing the valve cover provided access to the springs. What I like to do to get things started, give all these a little tap. All you're trying to do is dislodge the keeper from the retainer. Don't hit it too hard, just a light tap is all you need. We use air pressure to hold the valves up during the spring swap. A compression or leak down tester works well for this. To remove the spring, we use a valve spring compressor, like this piece from Comp Cams. So what we're going to do, normally we would use it with a rocker shaft, but since this is a bolt down rocker, we've got our own bolt. Slide that in, get it ready. Now we've got a little magnet to grab the keeper when we compress this. Grab the keepers, release the spring. And notice the air pressure is still holding the valve up. Now we can remove the spring. Now that we've done the exhaust, we're going to perform the same procedure on the intake. Screw that in, compress the spring, use our magnet, off they come. After removing the springs, we're going to remove the factory valve seals. If these seals are bad, you might want to replace them. After we've got the seals out of the way, now we can grab the rotators. Pull the rotators out. Sometimes they're a little sticky. On this L29 motor, both the intake and the exhaust use rotators. Now because those rotators are 300 thousandths thick, we're going to replace them with rotator eliminators from Comp Cams. These things slide down in place. I'm going to reinstall the seals. Now they're ready for our 26 120 beehive valve springs. Now that we've installed the rotator eliminators and new seals, we can put our beehive springs in place. Set the spring down. Because of the taller installed height, we may have to use a ratchet to bolt this thing down. Get this baby tightened up a little bit. Now that we have enough engagement, we can compress the spring. Put our 10-degree keeper in place. Put the second one in place. Let the spring up. Take our tool off. Boom, that's installed. As you can see, we've finished the installation of the springs on this side, I've installed the push rods and the rocker arms and guide plates. Now all we have to do is finish up the other side and our spring swap is complete. As you can see, we finished the valve spring upgrade on our big block Chevy. We've installed beehive springs, new retainers, and even rotator eliminators. Now this baby's ready for a more aggressive cam profile. If you want to see how well that extreme energy cam did, check out the big block cam swap video. But for now, this big block sporting beehives, and that's what Back to Basics is all about.